Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. I shall see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, as we're I don't even know what we're saying now. Relaxing as per usual. Late night episode, mainly because I was just lazy. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. There's no huge secret to it or anything like that. I was just like couldn't be bothered to record till now. But maybe I'll take some time to work on thumbnail art. You know, open up Clip Studio Paint, open up my drawing tablet. Not many times I have much of an opportunity to really work on it, so let's actually open up to try and motivate myself. Good evening, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 11:28 p.m. on Tuesday, May 14th, 2024. I mean, the worst thing I think would be getting too comfortable with the fact that we have this temporary thumbnail art, which I obviously don't want to use forever. But it's also like now that it sort of became a norm, and that I don't have like an overarching deadline anymore. It's kind of like ooh. a dangerous position to be in. I really got to like start the thumbnail art like more than a month in advance or something. But yeah, because it's been has it been 2 months since? Oh my god, it's been like 2 months since I've the new thumbnail art should have been in place, which is honestly ridiculous. Honestly, that just made my heart go, not my heart, but it didn't give me a great feeling in my stomach. I just went, wow, it's been that long. But so be it. You can't change the past or how long it's been. It's just how it is. So, I mean, honestly, I'm not going to have that much time, I think, to be able to work on it this week either. Maybe a little bit. Like, obviously not tomorrow because of D&D, and Thursday probably won't. Friday might be able to, actually, now that I think about it. We'll see. Or I might need to end up streaming on Friday. I don't know if I'm going to be busy on the weekend or not. Okay. I mean, by the way, I'm using the Joy-Con Drifty Joy-Cons because I forgot to charge the other Joy-Cons. But yeah, what are we going to chat about today? It's a great question. I don't really know off the top of my head what we could potentially talk about or what comes to mind. At the moment it's not really all about much. Excuse me, go down. There we go. Very strange using something with such a Joy-Con Drifty Joy-Con. I don't know, this is why we go on YouTube, this is why we go on Reddit. Summoning Salt made a great video, I suppose, about the history of the Tetris World Records. Which, yeah, if you haven't read, if you don't know the entire story, it's pretty crazy. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, like, it's even crazy because it's the sort of thing where I've seen it. A lot of it happened in real time. Like, I remember the moment where, I can't remember his name, but the person who beat the 6 times, like, world champion at Tetris, I remember that, like, being, like, not like a news article, but like a gaming news article, I suppose, about it, and being like, whoa, that's pretty cool. And then I remember the discovery of, like, rolling in Tetris. Biscuit's photo. And how it sort of like revolutionised it, and then of course everyone like remembers Blue Scooty as he broke who was the first person to break Tetris, quote. And now it seems like they got their eyes set on the next possible thing that they could do, which is a rebirth of Tetris. But yeah, I honestly just watched Summoning Salt's video. It's pretty great. It's a pretty long one. It's like a long video essay. What else? The most upsetting guessing game in the world? Oh, okay, so that's something by Auntie Donna, which if you don't know is like an Australian comedy trio, which some of their stuff I like, and some of their stuff I'm like, yeah, you know, as most comedy goes, it's a bit hit or miss. But they had like a live show recording, which for some reason, I don't know, a lot of the jokes they had, like, I found quite amusing. I guess their humour's, I'm not sure how to describe it. It's not like absurdist, I would say, but it's, I'm not really sure how I would describe it. I guess it's being very silly, I suppose, but with a serious overtone to it, or like attempt to like portraying something inherently ridiculous and silly, but with very serious facade over the top. I love it for some reason. Ends up being kind of funny. I don't know. Maybe evolving around that. It's hard to. Well, not that hard to describe. They're very silly, I suppose. Anyway, that whole show is like a whose line is it anyway? If you've seen it, it's called It's actually one of my favorites. It's called Party Quirks, I think, and whose line is it anyway? Where basically there's one person who is like a party host, and the other 3 people are party guests, and all the party guests have like strange characters that they need to play. I'm trying to remember some of them off the top of my head. One of them I feel like not Colin Mockery, Ryan, what's his name? Style? No, not Ryan Stiles. Ryan, what's his surname? Whose line? Ryan. It is Ryan Stiles. Never mind. I wonder how old he is now. 65. Wow. But I used to love watching Whose Line Is It anyway, back in the day. But yeah, they'd be given like characters to play. Like one of them I remember actually Colin Mockery playing was like an animal who constantly attacks like the video cameras or something like that. And I think Ryan Stiles plays one where it's like, oh, his head is like magnetically attracted to random objects or something. So they basically have to play a character, and the host doesn't know who the characters they're playing are, and through their interactions throughout the party they had to guess what character they're playing. It's as I understand it, it's not like that uncommon like an improv game to play in drama. There's a lot of these like drama-esque games which I'm very much not privy to by being someone who wasn't a theatre kid back in school. Like, what was it, like Zip Zap Zop or something? It's like the most famous one. I don't even know how you play that one, to be honest. Zip Zap Zop? Zip Zap Zoip? A player claps his hand and ending in a position towards what? Simultaneously, player A will say a nonsense word. Claps his hand, ending in a position pointing towards the direction of another player. Say a nonsense word, zip. Repeats his action, saying zap, and then player C says zop. Do not need to follow any order and can clap and point at any other player they choose, but they should follow the pattern of zip, zap, zop. Okay. Actually, saying that, like I didn't play any of these sort of drama games as a kid. Amusingly enough, like I think I mentioned this before, I went to basically like this Christian summer camp sort of thing, which was held in my primary school, like just like over the summer holidays. But it was basically like a week in school where they would like do these activities. They set up like this massive tent on like the grassy field that we had in our school, and we were like split into a load of different groups. We did a load of different activities, including playing some like games here and there, and some of them were like sort of drama-esque games. Like I remember, I feel like we played a lot of Splat, which if you don't know how you play Splat, it's basically, I'm trying to remember in my head. Oh my god, sorry. So like so many memories just like came rushing into my head. But Splat is basically everyone stands in a circle, but there's someone in the center with a gun, quote quote a gun, and if they shoot someone, they go splat. That person needs to duck down, and the two people next to them need to turn around to each other and say splat. And they basically have a duel. Whoever does the splat first is considered to have won. As a Splat game we played. That was a very popular like playground game, to be perfectly honest. I don't know if people still play it now, to be honest. But I just had a thought, because I also went, it's completely irrelevant to a Christian summer camp thing that I was on, which I only went on like a few times, but in year 6 we went to like an overstay holiday sort of thing. This is like the big school trip of that year. Like in year 5 we went down to the south coast, in year 6 we went to like a place called PGL, Parents Get Lost, which is basically like a really fun sort of like summer camp for kids with all sorts of different activities, and it was actually great fun. I wish I appreciated it more, to be perfectly honest. I remember the last thing we did there was like some really weird disco, except for we were all like awkward 11-year-olds, so of course no one knows how to party at a disco. But I remember one of the things that we did there was, I can't remember why we had to do this, but they were just like, the fire alarm, quote quote, is going to go off at a random point, like on the 3rd night or something, and everyone needs to come out dressed up like super silly and that sort of thing. And I remember my friend at the time, he came out dressing like crazy, absolutely crazy. He was wearing like pants and shorts on his head. He was wearing like so many different layers. I used to have a picture of me and him like posing together. I can't remember what I did. To be perfectly honest, I think I tied like a towel around my neck as like a cape, and I think I just put on like socks on my hands, and I wore like my hat upside down. That's what I remember. I don't remember anything else from it. But sometimes we'd had like these night activities where we go onto like the grassy field that they had near this like summer camp area, and we do activities. And one of them we did Splat, which I can't remember exactly, but I think I won that round of Splat, which meant that I could be the Splat master. I could be the person in the centre with the Splat the next round, which I was very thankful for, because as it turns out, the next round of the Splat game we played was called like Weird Splat or something, where basically instead of having to turn to your opponent and instead of the person still ducks down as normal if I pointed at them and I say splat, but the two people next to that person, instead of dueling by saying splat, they basically had to be as weird as possible, and then we'd have like a vote on whoever, or I like decreed whoever I thought was weirder won the duel. And some some of the classmates obviously were too embarrassed to do anything, so they just like resigned immediately. But I remember like a certain few classmates in my head like really just went off the rails. They just like let loose to be as weird as possible. One of them being that friend I spoke to before, you know. He, credit to him, he fully committed to like everything, I suppose. He was a great guy, to be perfectly honest. But I don't remember exactly like the general premise of what he did, but I'm sorry, I remember the general premise. I don't remember the specifics of what he did, but I remember basically like when he was being weird, he basically acted like a chicken or something the entire time. And there was another girl who basically just like screamed like a banshee every single time she was being weird. Like she acted like she was being possessed or something. And then we have this other girl who, like, I remember that this is what the duel came down to, was my friend being a chicken, and well, to be fair, everyone in that class was my friend, I'm going to be honest. And this other girl is my friend, and I don't even know how to describe what she was doing when she was being weird, but she was just sort of like being like a diva, I guess is how I describe it. It was so like it was so strange to think back on, and I'm thankful all the time that I was the person in the centre doing the splatting, so I didn't have to like be weird and embarrassing. I probably would have just like resigned immediately, because I was like, I mean like I know how to be weird, but not weird in a very comedic sense. I think in a performative sense of that. Anyway, there's a video, because I remember after we came back from the trip, we like had like a compilation of photos and videos and that sort of thing. There is a video of that floating around, of that final duel, of my friend being a chicken and my other friend being like some weird diva. Which, the only thing I remember she was doing, she was like, "Oh no, you don't, chicken," or something like that. It was just so strange. And then someone called out to her, like her name was not like Anna, but let's pretend her name was Anna. She wasn't. Where one of her friends yelled out, "Anna, do like the Z snap thing," and then she just turned around and she just goes like, and I don't know, that really cracked us up, you know, us like 11 and 10-year-olds back in primary school. I don't remember who won. I think maybe I called it a tie, or maybe I said the chicken one. I don't remember. But that comes to mind. I also remember we did a thing where we did like the races where you had to like put your head to a pole and you spin around in like a dizzy circle, a dizzy race or whatever. That actually, now I think about that, the weird splat we didn't do on that night, that we had to dress up strangely. Like with all our clothes, but we did do that dizzy race on that night, I'm pretty sure. And I'm trying to remember what else happened. I wonder if PGL's still open. There was a lot of fun times in that's open glass door. That's not what I wanted. PGL, of course, stands for parents get lost or something. Never ending school holidays to fill. Family adventures, Disney. What? That ain't possible. Closed. Is it this one? See photos. I want to see what if it looks the same as I remember. There's a Jacob's ladder. I remember that. I don't remember this. Is that the grounds? The climbing wall? Looks slightly different from how I remember. Inside, canteen, cafeteria looks. I don't even remember what. I think that's kind of what it looked like. Maybe that's same sort of arrangement. Abseiling wall. I remember that. Oh, the big swing! Who could forget the big swing? That was great. I'm trying to remember what else happened. I don't know what these mushrooms are just sort of like doing it. There's so many photos of us Jacob's ladder, or like these activities that you had to do with jumping up. Is this like a historic like walking tour or something? The big swing is a big one. I remember what you had to do. It's I don't know how to say it. It's like a big swing, and then like everyone out, you're on like, we were split into like groups of 8, and then you all like went up in pairs, and then the pairs are just like, how high up do you want to go? And then me and my friend were like, we're going to go to the top, and then you had to reach backwards and like pull out this ripcord, and then you just start swinging. That sort of thing. Good times. So I'm trying to think back to that weird splat thing, if I remember anything else. I don't really. But now I think about it, you know, I mean, it's a great thing, drama and theatre. You know, underappreciated thing at school. Like, obviously, I'm sure it's not every kid's cup of tea. Some kids are, of course, very shy and that sort of thing. But it's nice for kids to have this sort of, like, release in a way. Drama is very much a subject which I think encourages kids to be weird and their natural selves, you know. To experiment, do strange stuff. Just, like, let loose. And, you know, I guess that's what Weird Splat is pretty good for, you know. at the time, you know, that girl who just like screamed like a banshee, I'm sure I was just like, oh, she's being a bit weird, you know, because she's playing weird Splat. But, you know, maybe it was probably like really cathartic as well, you know. I don't know if she had like much stresses in her life building up or anything, but just being able to scream and yell around screaming probably was quite fun, I'd imagine. Would I find it fun? Probably not. I don't know, to be honest. It's not like, I suppose the adult concept now is like having a rage room and that sort of thing, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know if rage room is my sort of thing, but you know, maybe I try it. Smashing things doesn't seem like very appealing to me in the first place, but I understand why it could be, or why it would be to other people. You know, maybe I should try it. Who knows? Maybe it would be a catharsis yet unforeseen by me. But I'm trying to, you know, weird Splat. I don't know. The game of Splat was pretty fun, to be perfectly honest. It gets very confusing when there's like fewer people, right? Because you kind of forget who's between you and who's not, or something like that. Yeah, I don't know if I have any photos still from those days. I don't think so. I think they're all on my like old USB key, which is currently broken because like I can't access the information on it because the port of it is kind of broken secondary school, unfortunately. I'm sure there's a backup somewhere, probably. But no big deal, to be perfectly honest. But the memories are still something I have in my mind, and I suppose that's what matters. I'm just trying to remember other things, or like other times I played Splat or like these drama games. In fact, Christian camp, like there was one game where we played where, well, okay, one of them I remember we stood in a circle. We basically had to like try and clap in a circle as quickly as possible. And then like the strategy you're meant to use is you basically start clapping when the person 5 claps ahead of you starts clapping. Oh, I don't know what you do if you're in the first 5 people, to be perfectly honest, but who knows, whatever. There was a game where we had to like make sounds or something, like someone like that we'd stand in a line and it would basically have a battle, like we split into 2 groups, like so we're in 2 lines facing each other and one person will make a sound and then everyone on their team has to make that sound and everyone on the opposite team makes a sound, and the invigilator has to be like, yeah, you had to decide who like made it most vigorously. And I mean, that's a very like another cathartic one. I remember the sound I said was like flip flop, and I just like swung my arms like as if you're doing like a front crawl, and I was like flip flop. That comes to mind. I remember really panicking at that situation because I was like, I don't get this game. I was like, I don't know what sound I'm meant to make, what would be fun. Obviously just overthinking it to a degree which really didn't matter. Trying to think what other sort of games there were. Maybe sort of like drama games where you like had to do things. I don't know. Drama games. Rhyme race? I don't know these. Tongue twister, zip zap zop, bippity bippity bop. Name game? Lap lap clap slap. I don't know any of these. Oh, Splat, there it is. Bomb and shield. Pass the sound. Alien tiger cow. Shake it off. Meet my friend. Oh, I remember the PG out as well. There was a lot of things that we had to do about answering riddles. That's probably for another time. So it's not really like a drama game. I don't know any of these drama games. I don't know Splat. Oh, you're meant to throw an imaginary pie at someone. And then you have a duel. Oh yeah, that's it. And you stand back to back, and then the person who's the invigilator for Splatter will just like say random words like split, splot, sploosh. But you can only turn around and say Splat when someone says Splat. It's like a not Mexican standoff, that's the wrong thing. Like a cowboy duel. Do you love your neighbor? Hotspot. Dear. Well, I've never heard of any of these drama games, but this one's called Dear, so I've got to click on it. Similar style to Bippity Bippity Bop, of course. Bippity Bippity Bop, everyone knows. Stand in a circle. Says Bippity Bippity Bop as fast as you can. Person being pointed at must say bop before she gets to the end of a phrase. If a teacher points at someone and says bop, the student must stay quiet. Okay, I see. Another dimension. Haunted house. Crouch and ghoulish voice say, come in, come in. What? Hawaii? Would have to do the hula. Try to put their arms up like palm trees. So Godzilla must stomp in place as if he were Godzilla, and the others must cower and scream. What on earth is going on? Divide the class into groups of 3. Think of an animal, make sure there are no duplicates. Create a 3-person pose that represents an animal. Oh man, that just gave me another memory of something we did in English class, which I guess was a similar thing, except for instead of an animal, it was a representation of the Priestley book, and Inspector Calls. Well, drama play, I suppose. Inspector Calls. Oh my god, it was J.B. Priestley. I actually haven't pulled it out from nowhere. I'll talk about that another time. I must have spoken about that already. Anyway, Splat. What a great game. And weird Splat. What a weird game. But if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time. Bye-bye for now. When's the last time I responded to comments? I think it's been like well over a month. My apologies.